What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and on today's video we're talking about pain when running, specifically how you can deal with pain while you're running. Now I'm not talking about going out for an easy run and you just don't feel like it and things are a bit creaky in the beginning. We're not talking about that kind of pain. We're talking about the kind of pain that only comes when you're racing, only comes when you are pushing yourself to the extreme. And it's a special kind of pain, and I think that that kind of pain is exactly what makes racing so special, because when we get to the end of the race, we realize that we've overcome something. It's more than likely at some point during that race, we got to a point where we were like, oh, can't go on, can't keep running at this pace. Maybe we slowed down, maybe we did, maybe we made some other adjustments, but whatever happens, we were in pain, we overcame it, and we got to the finish line. But there are ways that pros deal with their pain that perhaps the general running population might not. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about those ways. We're going to be talking about ways that you can better deal with the pain that comes from racing, that comes from pushing yourself. And I came across an article in Outside, authored by Matt Fitzgerald. So again, Matt Fitzgerald, who knows what he's talking about, right? And the article is titled, How to Deal with Running Pain Like a Pro. And if there's one thing I know about my audience, based on what I know about myself, is that you're not a pro, but perhaps you'd like to benefit from things that the pros have, like more speed, more time to train, stronger mental game, unlimited shoes from your sponsor, paid trips around the world to run all these exotic races. Now, for most pros, I really don't think that it's like that. One thing the pros have that really they have to have in order to get to the level that they're at is to have a strong mental game. So the article starts out by quoting Scott Jurek. And I remember using this quote when I've been deep into some races, when I've been deep into long races, when I still have a long way to go. And Scott Jurek famously said that pain only hurts. And that really boils it down to its essence. It's really nothing more than that. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about an injury. I'm not talking about tripping on a curb and twisting your ankle like I did a few short months ago. I tripped and I rolled an ankle and I went down. I went down pretty hard. That was pain. That only hurt, but there was also damage done. No, the pain that I'm talking about is the pain that comes from racing. It's that pain of fatigue. It's that pain of your muscles getting tired, of your lungs burning. And that is the type of pain that does indeed only hurt. And if you can wrap your mind around that, if you can accept that as pain only hurting, then you will go a long way. And like always, got some scientific studies to back it up. The article also quotes Bob Kennedy. Now, Bob Kennedy is a previous 5,000 meter American record holder, and he lets us know that one thing about racing is that it hurts. You better accept that from the beginning or you're not going anywhere. Okay, so what I've done by telling you that Scott Jurek's quote and Bob Kennedy's quote is something that we all know. We all know that racing hurts. And I think sometimes it's easy for us to think that, you know what, those people that are faster than us, those people that race more than us, perhaps it doesn't hurt them as much as it hurts us. But guys, it's not true. You better believe that Eliud Kipchoge is in pain when he is finishing a marathon. He just knows how to control it. And I've used Eliud Kipchoge as an example in several other videos, but that man is a master. He's a master of running. He's a master at controlling his emotions. He's a master at controlling his pace, his effort, his thoughts, and that's what makes him the GOAT that he is. So if pain in racing is inevitable, what can we do? And guys, I'm just going to break it to you right now. I'm not going to give you a way to lessen the pain. When you race, it's going to hurt. But what we are going to be talking about is accepting that discomfort. And that can mean not dwelling on it. It can mean just accepting it and kind of viewing it from the outside. And this is supported by research. It's been shown that people who are trained to accept exercise-related discomfort experience lower perceived effort levels and perform better in endurance tests. So if we can just accept that discomfort, it's going to benefit us by making the effort that we're putting out feel less than it is. And that acceptance can come down to mindfulness. In fact, there was a 2011 study by scientists at the Catholic University of America who found that high school runners that were trained in mindfulness techniques significantly lowered their mile time. So how can you accept the discomfort that comes with racing? Well, there are two techniques. One is bracing, one is detachment. Bracing yourself is exactly what it sounds like. Imagine someone's gonna punch you in the stomach. You are going to tense up beforehand. Bracing for race discomfort involves preparing your mind for the oncoming discomfort. You know it's gonna hurt, and that's gonna be okay. The idea is that you're not letting yourself be surprised by the discomfort during the race. It's part of race preparation. Next up is detachment, and detachment involves separating your thoughts and your feelings from your perceptions. Now, this is remarkably more easier said than done. But basically, your legs are on fire, your lungs are burning up because you're putting in such an effort, but your mind is somewhere else. Your mind is focusing on your pace, your arm swing. You're not actively focusing on the discomfort part of the running. And this does take practice. use. But for example, the article points out that instead of thinking about that pain, like, oh, I hate this so much, think instead that you've done this before. I've been here before, I've gotten through it before, I'm going to do it again. And this type of process, this type of thinking is called metacognition. And ultimately, metacognition is thinking about your thoughts. You're not letting your thoughts run the show. You are controlling your mind, you're controlling what you think about. And if an unconscious thought pops up, perhaps about this isn't your favorite place to be right now, this isn't your favorite state of being, you can gently push that aside and bring in different thoughts. In 2015, Noel Brick interviewed 10 elite runners. And basically, he wanted to get into their heads and understand what they think about when they're racing, what they think about when that pain starts to increase, when they are already going at race effort. And it was found that the athletes all experience a high level of exertion. They all experience the pain that comes with exerting themselves at a high level. But the difference is that they use that pain signal as a trigger to set off other thought processes. So the pain triggered them to think about other things that they could control. And some of the things that came up were trying to relax and chunk in their distance. Now, obviously, relaxing is something that we need to do when we're really putting in an effort. It's really easy to tense up, maybe to start hunching those shoulders. I know that when I'm racing, I often like to just shake my arms out like this just to get my shoulders to relax a little. And then chunking is where the athletes think about the distance that they're running in order to break it down into more manageable bite-sized pieces. And this is a technique that I really enjoy. So around my house, I've got different routes that I run of all different distances. And when I'm racing and things are getting tough, I will think about those routes that I've run hundreds of times around my house. And I think to myself, hey, I only have to do this run. And because I'm so practiced at doing these runs that are around my house, I can kind of let my mind drift off and think, that's all I have to do. It isn't mile 20 of a marathon. It's only a 10K loop around my house. So while relaxing and chunking are great metacognitive strategies, there are really unlimited strategies that you can use, and they're all going to be tailored specially to you. You know what works for you. If when you start to suffer, you start getting angry, perhaps that is something that pushes you. Being angry doesn't actually push me, so I find it difficult to imagine being angry and running. But we're all different, and we all get motivated by different things. So if you like to run angry, get angry. And the same thing goes with being happy or thinking about gratitude. So all these strategies, all this metacognition of being aware of your thoughts and thinking about the thoughts that are occurring, all this is so we can increase our inhibitory control. And inhibitory control is nothing more than trying to resist the urges that come up. We're talking about these immediate urges. Urges like, I have to stop running right now. And this is something else that can be practiced throughout your daily life, even when you're not running. But that practice is well worth it because a 2015 study in Italy found that a standard test of inhibitory control was a strong predictor of subsequent race performance in a group of ultra runners. Let's just talk briefly about emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is nothing more than being able to regulate your emotions. So, for example, if somebody cuts you off in traffic, do you get angry or do you just let it go? If you are quick to get angry when someone does something that isn't specifically to you, but you're just involved, perhaps you have a lower level of emotional intelligence. If you're able to let something like that slide off your back, perhaps your emotional intelligence is a little higher. And based on my experience, I think the average emotional intelligence of society is on the lower end of the spectrum. Can I get a thumbs up in the comment if you agree with me? And guys, emotional intelligence can be practiced. You can get better at it. You can become better at regulating your emotions. And this is something you might want to think about doing. If you already know that your emotional intelligence could be a little higher, think about this. A study published in 2018 in Personality and Individual Differences found that individual scores on an emotional intelligence test predicted half marathon performance better than prior racing experience and training volume in a group of recreational runners. So I guess that what I'm hearing is that you could have no running experience, you could never have run a race before, and if you have a high level of emotional intelligence, you're going to win half marathons. Okay, perhaps that's a little extreme, but you know what I'm saying. Emotional intelligence is correlated with better running. All right, my friends, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about pain when you're running. I want to know how you deal with it. I want to know if you get upset when somebody cuts you off in traffic. And let me know about your self-perceived emotional intelligence. Do you think you're above average? Let me know in the comments. All right, guys, thanks for staying all the way to the end of the video. If you have got this far and you're not already subscribed, consider doing so right now. And as always, the biggest compliment that you can give me is to give this video a thumbs up. Be kind, be happy, run well. I'll see you in a couple of days.